Right now on Denver 7 News at 5 a.m., don't let this morning's clear skies fool you. It is a Denver 7 weather action day as heavy rain could cause flooding in parts of the metro. What's being done right now to make sure this doesn't happen again to drivers along the Central 70 project?
More Colorado students are feeling the back-to-school jitters this morning.
Oftentimes it boils down to acceptance, right? You're going into a new environment when you're starting school.
Now, I'm sitting down with a counselor to ask about the right and wrong things to say to help your kids through that back-to-school anxiety.
And Broncos country, we're off to a pretty good start.
That's a big way to win a game, PJ.
Yeah, they're fired up in the locker room how the team is now preparing for their second preseason game in Buffalo.
We do want to get to some breaking news quickly this morning. A Denver firefighter is recovering after being hurt during a fire in a construction zone off Federal and Vassar overnight. These images show the building there fully engulfed in flames. That building was vacant. Investigators are still working to determine the cause as we look at the aftermath right now. We'll continue to keep you updated on that. Thanks for sticking with us on this Monday. I'm Nicole Brady.
And I'm Brian Sanders. Make sure you pack the umbrella. Make sure the windshield wipers are working like they should because we are expecting some afternoon storms, Lisa.
We are, yeah, in areas of heavy rain. It's been now just over a week since the flash flood concerns that we saw, and now more to come. You can see on satellite and radar, things are pretty quiet right now. We are going to see a little mix of sun and clouds here along the I-25 corridor for the early morning drive. It's going to be really by early afternoon that we'll start to see those showers developing. We have a flood watch in effect here in green. That's going to include parts of Douglas, Jefferson, Boulder, Larimer counties, and then a flash flood watch near some of the burn scars as you get a little farther west. So here within the next few hours, we'll get more building cloud cover. Temperatures are going to be a lot cooler here. We're going to see upper 70s by lunch, and then highs will be in the low to mid 80s this afternoon. Denver's going to be right around 83 to near 85, more 60s than 70s in the mountains. We'll be tracking the rain. I'll show you more a little hour by hour when we're expecting it to roll through and how long it's going to last coming up.
I'll show you I-70 out there in just a second. Right now, I want to start with some RTD issues where we've had some bunch of buses that have been delayed or canceled here because of the operator shortage. It includes the routes like the 0 that goes down along Broadway, 16, which is out on the west side of town. The big one is the AT that goes out to the airport from the south side. So a lot of folks are not able to get out to the airport using that AT bus here this morning. So just check with RTD's website for those latest cancellations. We also have still some restrictions. I've seen some traffic starting to move again on South Federal by that fire that we've had down here, basically between Evans and Yale, and so you might still see a restriction in there here this morning as they continue that mop-up operation. You can see the drive on I-70 right now. At least the drive looks okay as you take a look at the camera down that way. It is dry for now, but of course that rain down here could be an issue. We'll have more details on that for you coming up here this morning.
Right. With more rain on the way today, we don't want to see this again. We showed you the heavy rain last week that flooded out parts of the Central 70 project. Some were able to make it through. Others were stranded, and drivers and even some of the smallest family members had to be rescued. Denver 7's Christian Lopez joins us live this morning because a contractor from the Central 70 project is going to try to make sure that those pumps turn on like they're supposed to today.
Yeah, that's right, Brian. And we're already seeing several cars on I-70 this morning as people are heading to work. We know it's going to start picking up as families start making their way to school this morning. And just a week ago, this interstate was looking a lot different when it was hit by that heavy rain and people had to be rescued from those floodwaters. Now CDOT is working to prevent that from happening again. And one of the things they're doing is keeping a close eye on the pump. CDOT's Central 70 project contractor Kiewit is still looking into what happened, but a spokesperson said it appeared the drainage pumps did not turn on automatically and had to be manually turned on when those cars got stuck last weekend. And now they're monitoring the drainage pump 24/7 as they continue to investigate if there was a pump malfunction. And Kiewit says that they've done some extensive testing that shows the drainage pump and the backup system are fully operational. But until that investigation is done, whenever we have wet weather, there is a new protocol, and staff will now be on site at that pump to make sure that the interstate drains properly. And that final investigation and those results will be ready by the end of the month. Kiewit says that they have taken steps to make sure that those pumps are working properly for the next time that we have a weather event. Live in Denver this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Thank you, Christian. Well, this morning, Greeley police still need your help looking for the person who shot into a crowded bar over the weekend. Happened late Saturday night at the Rancho El Corazon bar. Police say a masked gunman pulled up, stepped out of a vehicle and fired multiple rounds into the crowd that was standing outside. 2 people were shot but are expected to survive. Greeley police have not released a description of the suspect or the vehicle, but if you have any information that could help them, give them a call. Students in Gilpin County will not be going to school today because of a threat made on social media. It was posted over the weekend. The sheriff's office says it has identified the student responsible. They are suspended during the investigation. The district canceled class today out of an abundance of caution.
A lot of kids are going back to school today, though. It's the first day for Mapleton, Westminster, and Cherry Creek schools. Jeffco starts tomorrow, so a big week here. Denver 7's Veronica Acosta joins us live. And Veronica, we talked so much about teacher burnout during the pandemic, but you found some teachers who are feeling the opposite right now, really enthusiastic.
Really excited for whatever this school year brings them. These are actually first-time school teachers that we spoke to, and the excitement is just a couple of hours away here at Overland High School. We're going to see those parents start pulling up, those school buses as well, start opening those doors and letting those students inside. But you mentioned those teachers. We always talk about those first-time little students. These are first-time teachers. One of them actually telling me that he chose this job not only because of his dad, who was also an educator, but because he wanted to help represent students who look just like him.
There's just a different level of comfortability with him in the room and trust, and I just wanted to be able to do the same thing. I never had a black teacher growing up, and I didn't have any males in elementary school, and so I kind of wanted to break that mold.
So that's Will, who you just heard from. He's going to be teaching over at East Ridge Elementary School. And as you can imagine, he's not the only first-time teacher at Cherry Creek School District. Jordan Walton, she's also going to be teaching little ones. That's going to be over at a different school, Buffalo Trail Elementary. She's going to be with students who have special needs. This is a job she says she knew was for her since the time she was in high school.
I've been waiting for this moment since I entered the program, my teaching preparation program. And I think I'm just most excited, to be with my kids. I was fortunate to land my first job at the school I student taught at, so I already know the schools.
So both Will and Jordan, like I mentioned again, they are first-time teachers. I spoke to them about a week and a half ago, and they were really excited to get their classrooms set up at the time. But they said what they're most excited for is to finally have their little ones in the classroom. We're live in Aurora this morning. I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
I bet that's a big deal. Your own class. Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Yeah.
Well, she pointed out teachers get nervous. We know a lot of kids have those butterflies in their stomachs right now going back to school.
A lot of big feelings going back to school.
Well, I sat down with Dr. Steve Carlton because this is an issue my kids have dealt with too. He said back to school anxiety is normal, but if you notice a change in your kid's mood or anxiety that persists for weeks, that could be a sign of something bigger.
Sleep disturbance is another big one. Diet issues and GI types of issues are common. I think as kids get older and sort of more aware of their emotional well-being, when you get into adolescent years, then you start seeing more acting out.
What would be the best way to handle this? I guess my inclination as a parent would be to think, well, it's just the back to school nerves.
I think it's a good idea for parents to set some type of routine with a check-in, right? In my house, we do a high-low buffalo, and we don't do it every day, but we have our kids talk about sort of what was your favorite moment from the day, what was your low moment from the day, and what's one thing you're looking forward to. And I think if you have that kind of routine and framework for talking, that can also be really helpful longitudinally.
Yeah, he really reiterated, don't minimize your kids' worries, even if they seem just like normal back-to-school jitters. Validate their emotions and help them talk about it.
Yeah.
Lisa, I'm worried about the weather today, to be honest. I have some anxiety over that.
Yeah, getting off the bus this afternoon is going to be a little wet. We're going to take a closer look hour by hour at our Futurecast. I've got one kid excited to go back, one that's a little nervous, so A little of each. You can see our highs today are going to be on the cooler side, low to mid 80s across parts of eastern Colorado, 60s for the most part in the mountains. Mountains will be one of the first spots where we see some of those heavy rain showers. I'll show you what that looks like on Futurecast coming up.
And of course, just be careful in some of those usual spots around downtown 38th and Brighton, right in that area there. You can see some flooding. You could see some, hopefully not on I-70. They'll get those pumps working, I'm sure. This is I-76 at the Commerce City split. Looks pretty good after some overnight road work we had here. Not seeing any really big delays across the freeways just yet.
I'm John Matteries. Grocery bills going through the roof. I'll show you how meal planning can save you time and a lot of money. That story coming up.
Plus, dining with Demogorgons, where you can check out the cafe transporting Stranger Things fans into the Upside Down.